What's happening? Want to thank you for coming by to Vape with a Viking. So today I got a little MTL RDA for you. It is the Vapefly Holic. Basically, in kind of a nutshell, it's I would definitely have to say it's supposed to be a new rendition of an MTL RDA. I would have to say it's probably an updated edition of a previous, in my opinion. But before we jump down, take a look at it, do a build in, and go through all the ins and outs of the box itself, we'll go ahead and do our Vikings advocacy minute. Minute's getting probably shrinking down a bit. Basically, the only thing I keep telling you every single video just to raise awareness, go to CASA, sign up, get to the calls of action, and I mean, just be involved if you can. I mean, just be informed, I should say. Don't have to be all involved, but at least be informed of your rights and what they're trying to do to your rights and all of our rights. So, but let's get back to the Holic. So, it's this new kind of packaging that Vapefly is doing. It's really cool. It's this kind of old parchment looking stuff. So, but let's just get to it and let's drop the hammer on the Vapefly Holic.
All right, so what I got for you today is the Vapefly Holic MTL RDA. So I did already take the slip sleeve off just because Vapefly, wow, like it took me about 5 minutes to get this thing off, and I don't know how many times I almost ripped it. So hopefully the new packaging that Vapefly is doing is really cool looking, because you see it with this, and then also the Brunhilde kind of has this like parchment style packaging, which looks really cool, but I don't know how they did it, but they made it so it's even tighter of a sleeve. So that was a huge pain. So yeah, definitely be careful with that. You're going to probably end up ripping this. And I think it's neat and nice looking enough to keep it intact. But anyway, so we'll get back to this. So this is a project from Vapefly and HORICK TV. I'm not familiar with who HORICK TV is. I know a lot of Vapefly stuff. They're working with the German 103 team. So, but I'm not sure who the HORICK TV is. So, might all have to Google that. So, but that's the front of the package there, and it shows a lot of kind of gear, almost steampunk looking stuff to it, which is pretty cool. If you are a Doctor Who fan, uh, does that not look like a Dalek? I'm sorry, that full on looks like a Dalek or Dalek, depending on how you want to pronounce it. So, all my UK people and UK people fans, Doctor Who, maybe? Doctor Who or steampunk, whatever. So, on the side, you got Holic, and then on the other side, you do have all of the Vapefly's personal information, social information right there. And then on the back, you have all the information here as well. Project by Vapefly HORICK TV and what your contents would be. And it does say, well, excuse me, they're not contents. It shows you your features. So mechanical piston outlook. So the thing is going to look like a piston. Fabulous flavor, so on and so forth. So I'll stop right there so you can look at all that. But here's going to be your UPC and your color configuration, and then your authenticity and quick scan code all in one. All right, just like any pretty much Vapefly product in a while, comes in that little box. You got your little gold insert there, and then of course the little stickers, security stickers, whatever you want to call them. And on the inside, we have again, Vapefly and then HORICK TV. And you'll have your atomizer here. And yeah, it does. It kind of has take the drip tip off specifically. Yeah, kind of looks like a piston. So, and I did get the black finish, which even though I just cleaned it, it's glossy enough. It is definitely going to catch fingerprints. Alright, so on the bottom here, you're going to have Holic and the number of it as well, and manufactured by Vapefly, but designed by HORICK TV. You do have a 510, gold 510 here, and that does look like it's protruding enough to be hybrid safe. Then we'll put that on a stand here real quick. And then we'll get into the box contents real quick. All right. Lots of goodies. Lots of goodies here. All right. There we go. So, of course, you're going to have the usual user manual, little tiny user manual. And then you're going to have no aim. You're going to have your accessory bag, which is going to have tons and tons of little O-rings. Tons of O-rings. You're going to have your Allen. You're going to have your tri-tool. You are going to have your beauty ring, which... okay. That doesn't make sense at all. So I have the black atomizer, but it's a stainless beauty ring. Okay, that's yeah, anyway, sorry, that's strange. So I don't know. I would have to say maybe they just throw in the stainless no matter what color configuration you get. Okay. That's a little different. And then, of course, you're going to have your squonk pin. Wow, sorry, that just kind of throws me back there. That's weird. Okay. And then you're going to get your little pouch of rebuildables, which is an I-90, an I-80, 2.5 millimeter in diameter. They do come out to 1 ohm. They're using that 26 gauge. And the nice thing is they are using some Firebolt cotton. And I've used a lot of Firebolt. And usually what they throw in there is the bigger, thicker stuff. This already looks like this is their smaller edition. So that should wick in there, pull through very, very easily. And then, of course, there's your coils right there. All right. And we'll get on with the piston RDA. All right. So it does look like you do have the two-sided airflow. And this is kind of like the Galaxies where you have a bunch of different options here. And then 3 on the other side. And what that's going to do is when you take and have it for both sides, you can either do both-sided air or you can do single-sided air. So what we'll do here is show you there's like the air inlets there. Everything's really dry right now. So as you can see, if you use this stay in frame, that'd work. You use this section of it, you have the biggest hole open there, but then on this side, it's closed off. Now, if I rotate it, and let's go to the biggest side on this side, you'll see that's open, you don't see any stainless through there. Then you go on the other side, and then boom, that hole is open. So yeah, I don't know if I'm having a light issue or what, but it's like really badly not showing well on camera. Okay, so I apologize, but we'll get through it. And also aesthetically on the outside, there are these little holes that are going through each and every, let's see here, let's get a little closer. You can see the little holes through here, and they're not holes per se, they're just little dimples, they're aesthetic dimples. So there's a lot of aesthetics going on here, because then when you take the drip tip out, it's only a portion of some of that outer aesthetics there. So you got that step there and these steps here. Makes it look kind of even cooler. Some people might actually say they're more for heat dissipation fins, but I really kind of doubt it. Then there's your drip tip, and it is of course, a mouth-to-lung drip tip. All right. So definitely still didn't dry this out good enough. All right, so on the inside here, you will see kind of like what they've done before is you have your outer cap, and then you have kind of your inner cap, but then way down in there, you'll also see another like mouth to lung secondary dome. And let's see. Let's use my black one so it's a little easier to see. All right. So yeah, you'll see there's actually another little dome in there as well. This is what I have found out with their products, specifically their mouth to lung products, is that little secondary dome in there, I think actually does increase the flavor, because they're little mouth to lung, like the Galaxies and possibly even this, even though the coil is not right up against your mouthpiece like a lot of mouth to lung, and that's where you get a lot of flavor, their coils are actually set off enough that this has got to make a difference. In my opinion, that has really got to make a difference. So, but that, just my opinion. But that's what you're here for, right? Okay. Anyway, so you got your O-rings on the outside here. Again, your airflow. And then this is where this gets a little unique, kind of like the Galaxies, where, let's go and get a little closer there. You have different adjustable air. So with this guy, you have these flathead flathead screws. And what that will do, see if we can pick this up here. You see how it just spins? And see if I can get a little closer. Better angle. There you go. See how it's dark there because it's open, but then you can turn it either direction, doesn't matter, and you can close that air off. So you can make this, close it off so it's literally only coming through the bottom here. What I have noticed, if you are a traditional low 10, 12 kind of watts mouth to lung vapor, you definitely want to close those things off, and you'll still get some flavor, but you're going to get a lot of throat hit and all that. You're going to go really high on your milligrams. If you want more of a flavor, like I tend to do, I tend to use like the mouth to lung fuse Claptons, the little micro Claptons, micro fused in these, and then open those guys up. And you'll get a ton of vapor and basically a really, really super restrictive direct lung out of it. So, and then you have your gold-plated grub screws, which are nice and clean, and they do have that little lip in there for you. Yep, there we go. Nice and clean there. And then, of course, they do have that nice little guide cradle for your coil jig to be able to make sure you're perfectly lined up every single time. So that works out really, really well. And then the juice wells on this guy, wow, they're hugely deep. I want to say, God, that's probably at least 8 millimeters. I mean, they are monstrously huge. It's like they almost took the Galaxies and took off the RDTA portion of the glass here and just made it all deck. So for MTL specifically, that's going to last you quite a while. So that's pretty awesome. So what we're going to go ahead and do, like usual, I'll take and use all of the included stuff. So we're going to go ahead and throw in a little 1 ohm coil We're going to throw some Vapefly cotton in there. And then what I like to do at 1 ohm or less is I use 6 milligram freebase. And one of my favorite little kind of mouth to lung freebase ones is going to be Kilo coffee milk. Get a little coffee going on. So we'll wick it, coil it, juice it up, and then come back up on top. And then I will give you my thoughts on the Holic by Vapefly. So I will catch you back up top.
We'll go over the price and availability right now. 25, $30 for this MTL RDA. I got mine off of Vapor DNA. Yeah, Vapor DNA. So I know that they carry it, but kind of slim pickings on U.S. Distributors of this item. So, and one thing I said in previously and then dive down, and I'll do it again anyway, just because I think it's kind of neat. Their packaging, it's the same kind of almost like aged old school style for even like the Brunhild or Brunhilde, depending on how you want to pronounce it. They're kind of going to that kind of packaging, which is really nice. I think that makes the packaging look that much better than the previous renditions. Like, I have like the core and then like the galaxies. Uh, it's a little cooler looking in my opinion. So there's that. But so far as pros and cons, really the biggest con I have with this guy is like the Galaxy's MTL RDTA, which I would show you, but the wife uses that constantly, so I can't get that away from her. But this has almost the exact same build deck and the exact same depth when it comes to those juice wells, which is fine, except for the fact that that means there's a lot of capillary action that this thing has to deal with. So you have really long wicks that go down into those juice wells. Even if you're just barely touching the deck or the bottom of the juice well, like you're supposed to, it's still a pretty long wick on each side. So, but I guess the pro to that is you don't have to have an RDTA to have that kind of juice well capacity. You could almost fill those guys up and have probably maybe a mil, maybe two, pushing it, of well reservoir. So that's kind of neat. But that long capillary action can be a pain. So that would probably be my biggest con. The other con is except for the quick access to the ports to make the airflow, the side airflow, open or closed. Um, It's, to me, it's literally the Galaxies with a little bit improvement here and there, and that would probably be one improvement, or it could be, con, depending on your take on it. It's really easy to access them. Just pop off the cap, take a flathead, turn one way or turn the other to open or close. Pretty easy, but there's really not a whole lot under the hood essentially going on different than the Galaxies, in my opinion. So that's kind of a pro and a con. Now the nice thing is like they do tell you, you can get a very good restrictive mouth to lung, which if you take it and you close it all the way down to the last hole and have those shut off, you can, and of course let's drop down the wattage here, you can get a very nice MTL. Flavors there. Throat hits there if you run a higher milligram juice than I do. It's so it works really well. But then you just take and open up your airflow, open up those side ports, which I already have open, crank up your wattage, and do what is called a slipstream to get a nice restricted direct lung. And a slipstream is when you take and do your normal pull, just kind of leave the other side of your mouth just barely cracked open, and you're going to go straight into your lung. So now we're back up to 30 watts instead of the 18. And the flavor's still there, and now of course the throat hits better, but it's because I have it set up basically for direct lung, not mouth to lung. But I did try it, as you saw in the dive down, with a mouth to lung build and a much higher milligram e-juice in there. So this is a great dual purpose RDA, or if you are an MTL person and let's say your spouse or you yourself are just interested into eventually getting into direct lung so you can get into more of the mass market of products, this is a good little transition piece basically, or let's say trainer RDA, because it does both MTL and direct lung fairly well. So usually when you get into these kind of devices, they do them both okay, but not either one really well. This one kind of breaks the mold of that. It does both pretty well. So for 25, 30 bucks, if you're an MTL person, grab it. If you're a direct lung person, but like a really restrictive direct lung, get it. It's good. It's good. So it's, like I said, capillary action be about the only con in my opinion. And if you already own a Galaxies, you probably will not pick this up because there's not enough changes, in my opinion, to justify spending the money on grabbing this guy. So, but that is all I have today for the Holic. So I want to thank each and every one of you yet again for coming to Vape with the Viking, and I'll check you later.